Gotta love these smartphones. Really gotta love them. What's up, people? This is your boy Gerald. It is the 24th of July, 2023. How is everybody doing? I know it's been a minute since the last time I updated my channel, but don't be distracted. Do not be distracted. There was a reason for it because there was a lot of stuff going on. And for that, in my personal life, I was guided to be still. Because, see, I've learned that in social media, there are plenty of people that got plenty of things to say that unfortunately are not relevant, but they're looking for content. And to each his own, I'm not built that way because at the end of the day, my walk has always echoed the same sentiment, and that is for you to have your best life. Who am I talking to? Now, so that we don't have a distraction, I want to put this out there right off the bat. You're going to hear some music in the background, and this music is royalty free. And I've learned through the years that when I have connection with music, I tend to allow myself to be one with the beat, or better yet, things tend to flow to rhythm. Who am I talking to? So you're going to hear that. So just to make sure that I have my bases closed, covered, this is protected by the Fair Use Act, class action, or shall I say, Law 170. It is used for educational purposes, and there is no monetization used on my end. And I gotta bear with me, y'all. I got a liner, so you might hear a slight slur. It's not my doing, it's because it is repairing the structure of my mouth from once I was a kid. And I finally stepped out my fear to try to do something different. So you might hear a little bit of lisp going on, or, you know, a little bit of impairment. Don't trip on that. It's not. It's the aligners correcting my jaw. Okay. So let's get to the point of it all. So since the last time I put a video out, a lot has changed. And I know a lot has changed for you. And I congratulate you for those putting in the work, because you allowed yourself to be vulnerable to identify certain things that just had a nuance that did not work. And with that, you identified that because it does not work, maybe because of growth, maybe because of example, you allowed yourself to be vulnerable to identify and prepare, or have already enacted change. Who am I talking to? I congratulate you, because you might not realize this now, but everything that you willfully do is preparation and protection for who you're going to become. Did you hear me? Everything that is done in preparation by first identifying what does not work in your life is preparation for who you're going to become. Why is that, Gerald? Because you already feel this uncertainty. You know what that is? That's called your discernment. That is the most strongest element about your being. Why? Because you were a spiritual being first before you were flesh. Didn't realize, right? You made certain decisions before you were a physical being to come on this earthly realm. And there were, at the given time and moment, that marker, proverbially, spiritual marker that is, said, hey, it's time for you to ante up. It's time for you to do the work. It is time for you to acknowledge the agreement that you made prior to coming to this earthly realm. Who am I talking to? You don't actually believe that whatever setback, whatever delay, whatever distraction that is going on in your life is meant to be long standing. No, it's a test. It's always been a test. Why? Because you were made perfect. You didn't realize that? That is why every person you come into contact with, they were all afforded the same thing you were: natural spiritual gifts and talents. That's why they're able to do certain things that maybe because of your circle would give their left arm, proverbially, to be able to possess that illustration. Why? Because it's blessed. So, how you doing? How you been? Now, I know y'all probably wondering, Gerald, you've been on this YouTube channel almost 12 years. I have. And you could have fooled me by the amount of viewership. I know that too. But I will say this as a disclaimer, this. My content has not changed since 2011. And what I mean about that, my content is meant for the intended heart, intended mind. Why? Because not everybody's going to feel what you got to say. Not everybody is going to receive what you are trying to share. Why? Because it's called free will. What your experience might not be the same experience found in your environment. You know, your friends, your associates, those people. And they might look at you sideways. They might even convince themselves that they're downright off the knocker. But the truth of the matter is, nope. Everything happens as it should. Why am I saying that? Because I know there have been people that use my content as a proverbial window to the soul. They want to know what Gerald is doing, but they don't want to invest in what Gerald is saying. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that because I'm looking for the money grab. I'm looking at it from a perspective of you deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel appreciated. But in 2023, you can't find that. Everything is physically and economically monetized. Why? Because society for almost 12 years has convinced or attempted to convince humanity to not see your worth. Yes. Take and search for the cheat code. Don't invest in yourself. Be the clone. That was one of the reasons why hip hop iconic group The Roots put out that album Clones. That what they were trying to say that 10 years ago about the power of individualism, the power of investment, of being you. And that's why we don't have, well, society's qualms wasn't the qualms 10 years ago. Why? Because to do so, that meant you had to denounce what matters most, and that was you. You gotta bear with me because I got these aligners in my mouth, and it's causing me to slur, and I don't want to do that. But I wanted to let you know this. There's only one you, and the nuance in that is the same parallel as there's only one diamond. Right. But you say, Jared, what do you mean? There's only one you, just like there's only one diamond. Because even though every diamond refracts, the luster is only found in one. And the one is you. But if you don't see your worth, how can you personify it? How can you see the value in it? How can you find the vulnerability that makes you you to actually entertain the ability to invest and protect what makes your smile? Who am I talking to? See, society wants, how can I say this? To almost all out deplete you of sense of self. Why? Because to do that, you must first be in a place of relevance where you are willing to embrace vulnerability. What? Why am I talking about vulnerability? That is the sanctum or the inner sanctum of the essence that is your spirit. Why? Because there's only one. Do you actually believe your life was meant to have suffrage? You know why suffrage exists? Because we don't invest in who we are. And it is very common to do this. We attract what we are. Who am I talking to? Do you actually believe that every relationship you've been in or been shown that has failed was intentionally set in motion so that you could be in despair? Do you believe that? No. The truth of the matter is, everything that has been perpetrated through this cycle that you sought love and failed was actually in preparation of identifying what you need. So how can someone truly be the epitaph of love in your life when you have not defined what love is? Sure, I understand there is credence in those that say, well, you know what? I don't want to get hurt, so I'm going to weaponize my emotional sense of being. And in the process, I am going to tap in the things that I identify as my strengths, only to change the element and only have a deeper outcome that is not in your favor. Who am I talking to? Why do you think there's so many Jezebels on the street? Why do you think there's so many succubuses that exist? Because we attract what we are. And we can proverbially say, well, you know, until I get to the proverbial point of saying enough is enough, then I will invest. But there's one problem with that. Because we are given the gift of free will and choice, what we're not given is knowing the time or moment when the choices end. If you believe honestly that you are the martyr of your life, I'm here to tell you there is far more part of your life you have yet to tap into. Why am I saying that? Do you actually believe that your life was designed to be a concubine for someone's benefit? Or, just a little bit, do you believe that your life was intended for the person that will come into your life in the intended time and moment to value and uplift what you are? Only you know that. So, you can go two routes. You can go the route of the rebellion, which only attracts suffrage and pain and distraction and denial and delay. Or you can do something that you have yet to do, and that is to allow yourself to embrace your worth. Now, the big question is why you don't think you're worth that. Is that something that was ingrained in your psyche as a young child, and you said, well, I'm only going to do what I emulate? Or in that pivotal moment, you decided to actually assess what did not work for you? Who am I talking to? Queen, you know I love you. You know I do. But if you let the naysayers continue to have dominion in your life, nothing good is going to come out of it. And that is why, just as quick as they come in your life, just as quick as they vanish. The only thing that they leave is the residue of denial. They leave you in a position of bafflement to try to figure it out. But there's never no clarity. Why? Why is that? Because each one teach one. And to do something different requires courage to identify what does not work. Who am I talking to? You know, I've learned in my life there's many tragedies. But one of the greatest tragedies is to behold and see the bewilderment of someone who has lost a smile. And the funny thing about that is, it's a contradiction because usually those same people are in a position of what we know as fight or flight. They're doing what they have to do just to stay afloat. But at what price? At what price? Why am I saying this? There's a reason. And it will give you validity of why you ain't seen me. See, your boy, for the last 90 plus days, has been doing a lot of deep soul searching. A lot of deep understanding. And the one thing that I've always done behind the scenes is I stay prayed up. So you may hear that in social media. People use my euphemisms, they use my terms. But that's okay because all it does is validate that the things I pray for, humanity will see. And I've been praying a long time. And slowly but surely, it's manifested. So manifestation is real. But the question that I ask to intended heart and mind is, at what price? At what sacrifice? At what choice has to be done before the outcome that you desire actually is within your grasp? Because one thing that I've also learned is this. Because we are mortal beings, but spiritual beings first, the person that you are in your youth is not going to be the person you are in your season. And with your season, no one knows the time or moment that you're going to take your first breath. So with that, there is an underlying measurement required that you claim you. Why? Why am I saying this now? Because Society has convinced mankind that there are cheat codes involved. Society has convinced mankind that what is the point in investing in you? Why not align yourself with someone that thinks the same way you do? But guess what? Those trinkets, those little rewards are temporary and usually come with a price of despair. Why? Because you have yet to unlock what matters most, and that's you. Who am I talking to? I'm talking about the person in the mirror that wakes up every morning, that knows your inner desires and your fears. I'm talking about the person that is so unique. If they're allowed to take a step in the road that less traveled, you would change your life unequivocally in that first decision. Who am I talking to? But I get it. We live in a world of skeptics. We live in a world of non-believers. We live in a world that vulnerability and accountability can't be spoken. Why? Because there's so much pushback that if we actually entertain the thought of that option, it would change mankind's dynamic forever. Who am I talking to? Well, here's a caveat on that. You got a lot of people that are in positions of influence that don't believe. They have tried to entertain what has been conveyed, but the truth of the matter is they don't want to accept, because what's really going on is they have yet to do the work themselves. So how can I show accuracy on something that I've yet to invest in? Who am I talking to? Do you actually believe that your life was meant to be in the role of suffrage? So what do I mean by suffrage? I'm talking, you're the martyr. People just have their way with you. They do what they want with you. And guess what? You don't have a placement to question why. That is an atrocity. That is a misunderstanding. And the truth of the matter is, the devil wants you to keep that. Yeah. Because as I've always said, now almost 10 years, one of the euphemisms that I've always spoke was misery. You know, you've heard it, misery loves company. And I decided to put a spin on it, and I said, misery is like an endless table with endless chairs. But it has no merit until you decide to sit down. Because what that represents, that you have given up on your life. I don't think so. I don't think so, and I don't believe so. Because women are the natural example on this earth as what we know as wildflowers. Every flower has this flame. It has this fragrance. You got to blur. So I got these. It's causing me to slur. You are individual. You have natural gifts and talents. But until you decide to see what makes you unique, can you be even in the placement of seeing how different your life is? Why am I saying that? There's no, excuse me, There's no, you don't get a perk in being the martyr. You don't get a perk being the damsel in distress.